because it's that time of year where we think about what we want. It's that traditional time of year where we think about what we want. It doesn't need to be the only time of year where we think about what we want and critique things and look at things and edit things and prune things like I spoke about last week. But generally speaking, at a mass scale, this is what we typically do. So whilst you're in this phase, whilst you're in this period of time where it is quite natural to look at your life and set up new intentions for yourself, goals for yourself, outcomes for yourself, this is the one thing that I'll ask you to consider. And that is to consider your heart as you consider these intentions, goals, outcomes, and results. Because we can set up goals that are ego-driven. And sometimes we don't know that they're ego-driven. I'll give you an example. Recently, I just watched the movie Blow with Johnny Depp. I don't think it's not a recent movie that's been out. It's been out for a long time, but I just watched it recently. And if you, any of you out there who have done my work before and you've done ego work and you understand about the decisions that we make as children that then have a pretty big impact on the rest of our life, you'll understand this. In that movie, when he was a little kid, he grew up with a mother and a father, and a mother who really wanted more money than what the husband could provide. And it was quite a volatile relationship where she would leave and then come back, and she would leave and then come back. And then his dad's business went into liquidation and was bankrupt. And he witnessed all of that happen as a kid. And this is actually a true story. This is not just a movie. This is a true story. And in the movie, he actually says, it was at that point that I decided, and he was only a little kid, that I will never be poor. That I will never have money issues like my father. And so then off he goes from that decision he made. Yes, it was a decision because his reality was painful. So he goes and says, I will never, ever be in this situation again. And so off he goes, living this life where he becomes a drug trafficker. And he earns a lot of money really quickly, but also lives a very painful life. And interestingly enough, he ends up just like his father, if not worse. And that can be that goal, that intention, that decision that he made as a young kid is often what we do as adults when we aren't aware what is an ego-driven goal and what is a heart-desired outcome. So often we go on these goose chases to have a monstrous house, to earn a shit ton of cash, and we put a certain number that says that's the amount of money that I want to earn, but we don't know why we have set that intention up. Or we say that, I want to lose X amount of kilos and I want to be that particular weight. None of that is bad, right? None of that is bad. All I'm going to ask you is to take a look at where that intent is coming from. And are you wanting that outcome in order for something to make you feel like you're more enough, or you're more important, or you're more powerful, or you're more worthy, or that you will get something because, or you will be better because? Now, when you come to the level of the heart doesn't see things like that. It doesn't feel things like that. It doesn't say that when you get that, then you will be, or then you will have, or then you will be the most powerful person. It has no desire for that. And that's why I have shared across the podcast and in episodes that I had an ego-driven goal to earn millions. And so I had that goal because my ego was like, well, this is what coaches do. This is what coaches talk about. So you should be able to talk about it. And in my heart of hearts, I was like, that's actually not what I want. It's not what I want right now. And maybe in my lifetime, if I do earn millions, fantastic. But that's not my heart's primary concern. That's my ego's concern. My heart wants to live my life authentically. It wants to serve people in a way that feels good and true for me. And yes, make money. Yes, make money, because I want to be financially free and financially independent. But it's not in the millions. It's not in the millions. And so that's the difference. When we have these intentions and goals, especially around this time of year, I just want you to have this podcast in your earballs. And please send it to people who you know could do with hearing this in their earballs too. Please know what is an ego concern and know what is of concern to your heart. You know, like another example is you might want to lose 15 kilos. And so your ego says, when you lose 15 kilos, then you'll be able to get a guy, then you'll be able to get a girl, then you'll be able to wear the bathers, then you'll be able to go swimming, then you'll be able to go down the beach, then, right? It's like the back end of an EDM that says, once this is sent, condition opened, send that then, send that then, send that then. It's just got conditions written all over it. A heart concern. The concern of the heart could be that your end outcome, your end result is more about, fuck man, I want to take care of my body. I want to love it. I want to nourish it. I want to know what it looks like, what it feels like to take care of my body, and respect it and honor it. And see how that doesn't come with a number. That doesn't come with then you will be more worthy. Then you can go down to the beach and feel comfortable and confident because you weigh X amount. It's got no like extra condition or attachment added to it. It simply is that I want to treat my body with love, kindness, and respect. That's the end game. That's the end game. And so, of course, on your journey, you'd be eating better. You'd find ways to eat better. You'd find ways to move your body. You'd find, different things that are going to support you, which may naturally then you will lose weight. But the outcome is not the number. The outcome is respect, love for yourself, which is only going to birth your own self-worth. It's only going to birth your own self-confidence, rather than the number is going to bring you self-confidence and self-love and self-worth and all that kind of jazz. You know what I mean? So as you go and write down in your journals what you want and all of that kind of stuff, like, of course, go for that. Of course. It's wonderful to go for things. It's wonderful to set up intentions and create some tension between where you are now and where you want to be. That's normal and natural. It's healthy for us because it encourages us to grow and expand and use our inner resources. But please do not forget the heart. Do not forget the heart, And you can even shift it to, if you want a partner, it's like, I want a partner. It's like, tell me a little bit more, heart. What does the heart want? The heart wants a beautiful, fun-filled, connected relationship where you get to be your authentic self and bring that to the table. It's like when I'm in that relationship, I want to call in a relationship where I feel so at ease and at peace with being me. Rather than, please just bring me the first relationship that there is because I'm lonely, Please be mindful about what is of concern to the ego and of concern to your heart. Your heart's always going to have your deepest, best interest, right? Your deepest best interest. It may sound more fluffy and woo-woo, and I get it, right? But I have well and truly practiced both sides of this coin. And I'll tell you, when I used to have goals that were about money, like purely money, or purely about weight, or purely about any type of relationship, I can tell you, I got all those things. And I was still empty on the inside. Like, I got down to, when I was like drinking skinny me teas and all that kind of stuff, 50 kilos, and I'd look at myself in the mirror and be like, nah, not enough. Not enough. Got to keep going. It was never enough. As opposed to now, over the last 3 years, I'm like, that I'm fucking done with. I'm done with that. All I want now is to be able to nourish my body properly, to know the foods that are going to really sustain my body and give it sustenance for a good period of time, right? And as a result, so much of the how do I look has dropped because my focus is on something far deeper. But as a result, I've still dropped kgs. It's just not the primary focus. And I feel good in my body. I feel sexy. I feel wonderful. And of course, I'm going to have days where I'm like, I fucking hate my body because I have an ego, right? So that's what I'm going to share and leave you with for the last episode of 2022. How can you set up your intentions for the years to come that have more of your heart's concern at play? Maybe you want to write down all the ego things, or write down everything that you've got and then go, what does my heart have to say about this? What does my heart have to say about this? If I involved my heart right now, what would it share? What would it say? How would it tweak this? What would my heart really make this about? And start to journal those things out. See what comes about. Because I bet you bottom dollar, when you focus on that, when you bring your heart into the equation, fuck man, it's so much more fulfilling. It sends you on the places, it sends you toward the places you need to go. Not where you think you want to go or where your ego thinks you have to go.